Hello viewers, another beautiful day. Yeah, hope your five senses work, health and strength is good or excellent. What? Okay, remember the video I did yesterday when it talks about it was talking about Steam, talking about you don't own your digital purchase. I got a new one from Tom's Hardware. Listen to this. Steam checkout banner clarifies you don't own the game you buy. But then GOG take a jab at Steam, saying it gives users offline installers that cannot be taken away. I told you GOG was going to benefit from this. It says here that massive Steam library isn't actually yours. It says here Steam update is shopping cart page with a banner under the continue to payment button that says you only get a license for the game you're buying. According to a Reddit thread that discussed this change, the company made this change apparently due to a new California law, AB 2426, state that a seller of digital goods cannot use the term buy, purchase, or any other term which a reasonable person would understand to confer an unrestricted ownership interest in the digital goods. Furthermore, it says seller must provide consumer with a clear and conspicuous statement when purchasing. Says here, since Steam only sells license to games on its platform and not permanent ownership, it must implement this change to avoid legal trouble in California. Because of this, it adds this small banner on your shopping cart page, which say a purchase of digital product grants a license for the product on Steam. And then it says, it means you do not own the game you bought on Steam platform. You're only granted a license to use it on your device. Steam clearly states on the Steam subscriber agreement page that games purchased through the platform are licensed. The difference is that Steam must make it visible to the consumer with AB 2426, not buried under the Steam subscriber agreement page that most users do not read. It says here, meanwhile, GOG took the opportunity to take a jab at Steam on X, teasing since checkout banner are trending, we're thinking of putting up one ourselves. Thoughts on this one? The banner says a purchase of a digital product on GOG grants you its offline installer, which cannot be taken away from you. Then it says here, Steam is currently the biggest PC game platform in the world, so it has a massive impact on the gaming industry. It uses of license instead of outright ownership, thus mean that most PC gamers do not own their favorite title. Instead, they're just granted the rights to use them, but the game developer retains the right to control and do as they please with the game. Then it says here, if a developer takes a title bought via Steam off the platform, the game will also be removed from your library. Yeah, it says here, thankfully Steam does not uninstall a game that is already on your computer. However, it still doesn't sit well with many players that you don't have complete absolute control of your Steam game library, which contain titles you've already bought. On the other hand, once a game you bought on GOG enters your library, it will stay there for life. It says, or as long as GOG is in business. This means that even if game developers remove a title from the platform, it will not be removed from your account if you already purchased it. And says here, licensing versus purchasing games has always been a contentious issue between gamers, distributors, and developers. And while we're slowly losing the meaning of ownership in the age of digital libraries and subscriptions, it's still nice to know that there are some holdouts that when they sell something to you means that you get to keep that thing you bought forever. And that's the end of the article. This is from Tom's Hardware. Who wrote this? or this Joey Morales. I guess he's trying to be like Spider-Man Miles Morales. But anyway, look. So GOG is taking a jab at Steam. Yeah. Well, look. I remember. It's funny that this article is brought up because I remember on my wait a minute, on my let me see. I got my Xbox 360 connected here. Got my Xbox 360 connected here. This is my Xbox this is my Xbox 360. My Xbox 360. And I bought Raiden Aces. I'm a big fan of Raiden. Whether it's Raiden 1, Raiden 2, Raiden 3, 4, I think Raiden 5, they talk too much. And then Raiden Aces with fighter jet and jet fighters. Love that game. That I bought the digital game from the Microsoft store, and I had it on my 360. And one day I came in to play the game, and the game was gone. I went inside the Microsoft store to look for it. It was gone. I got no warning. And Microsoft, they didn't even say, you know what? Since you bought the game and the game is being removed, we'll give you Raiden 4 instead. Not even that. Raiden Aces was gone. So, GOG taking a shot. GOG taking a shot at Steam. It doesn't just apply to Steam. It applies to Xbox. It applies to every digital storefront you can find. So, when you buy a digital copy, man, I will say this: the saga continues, man, with physical copies versus digital copies. And when I had bought Raiden Aces, man, it happened to me, man. So yeah, GOG took a shot, to let people know, like, okay, when you buy a game, you actually own it. You can keep that thing for life. And that was a shot at everybody. That includes Nintendo, Sony, Xbox, Amazon, Gaming Billet, Green Man Gaming, Fanatical, Humble, Epic Game Store, and of course Steam. Yeah, that was a shot at everybody. So yeah, if I personally believe if you buy a digital game, you own it. That game should stay on your console for life. And you can play it as you see fit. If you buy the digital content, like let's say for like the expansions and the DLCs for a certain game, you should be able to. You should keep all of those all of that on your console. And you should have it to play for the rest of your gaming life. That's how I see it. But with the Raiden series, when I said Raiden Aces, this thing it got off my console, man. I bought Raiden Aces and Fighter Jet because I couldn't find the physical copy, and I came in one day to play it, and the game was just gone. So yeah, if you buy a digital game, man, you own that stuff because you work hard. You work hard for your income or your money or your salary, and you take your earned money to buy a game from a store. You didn't buy it to rent it. You didn't buy it to trade it back in. You buy it to keep it digitally. So you're supposed to own that. You're supposed to own that game. But now they're trying to say, oh, buying a digital game now doesn't mean you own it. Nah. If you buy a digital game, you're supposed to own it outright. Play it as you see fit. One thing I like about Sony, I've never had that happen to me with PlayStation, because when you buy a digital game, you get to it stays on your console. It doesn't move. Like take the PlayStation 3 for instance. I bought the digital copies of the Batman Arkham series, and those wallpapers are beautiful. Anyway, especially the Arkham Asylum one, man, beautiful. You get to see that little demo running on that little TV. Yeah, The wallpapers for Arkham Asylum, Arkham City, Origins, the Telltale series. Blackgate needs one, by the way. The Blackgate series needs one. But let's see, Arkham Asylum, Arkham City, Origins, and the Telltale series on the PlayStation 3. Those wallpapers are priceless, man. So yeah, you get to, when you buy digital games on the PlayStation 3 store, you get to keep. I mean, it stays on your console, man, and you can play that stuff offline as you see fit. But but to say now that you don't own it, man, that's nonsense. I think that should be taken up in court. Because when someone take their hard-earned money and then pay for a digital game, the full game with all the DLC, they're supposed to keep it. They're supposed to keep it. Because once that console shuts down with the online features, you're supposed to be able to keep that game and be able to play it offline with all the DLCs. Just saying. Anyway, that's just my thoughts on the whole thing, man. This should be a court. This should be a what's that? I think a Supreme Court issue. We got four comments. Let's see what these politicians talking about here. Let's see what they're saying. That's what they're saying here. Listen to this. Let's see. Who is this? Where's the comments? Where you go? Come back here. Just seen you. See the comment? They always run away. Okay, here we go. Ez said this. Not a surprise. Software licensing has always been just licensing, not ownership. And actually, ownership ends when cartridge and CD-ROM/DVD went away due to lack of customer demand. Even in those days, it wasn't quite full ownership, but it was a little more substantial. And then he says this was a choice gamers themselves made. If they want to lay blame somewhere, I'm sure their houses have mirrors in them somewhere. And then who is this? Cool said this. Cool said this. He said, not a surprise. Software licensing always has been just licensing, not ownership. And actually, ownership ended when cartridge. Think he's responding. He says, and actually ownership ended when cartridge and CD-ROM went due to lack of consumer demand. Even in those days, it wasn't quite full ownership. And he says, he responded by said this. He said, this was a choice gamers themselves made. If they want to lay blame somewhere, I'm sure the houses have mirrors in them somewhere. He said, I'm pretty sure even physical copies of games were also just licensed, and it's also the same with GOG in the sense that you have a license to play the game, not, for example, own the art asset inside. Well, and then let's say, who is this? Slug said this. GOG is my favorite. The vast majority of my digital game purchases are through them. Make sure to download the local installer, make backups, and boom, you have the game safe and sound. If some game developers pull a game off Steam that I purchased, I would expect a full refund. Facts. I would also never buy another game from that developer. Facts. I agree. I agree with him. And then Fun Surfer said this. In the PC Gamer site, they wrote about this subject. You can't bequeath your Steam library to anyone upon your unfortunate passing either, which is, of course, you would be able to if really own its content, but you can bequeath your Steam account and password. And those are the four comments. Look, man, if you buy a digital copy, you should own that game outright. If I install the game on the console with all the DLCs and expansion, then I own that game, and it means that once that console is not supported anymore, once the online store shuts off, I should be able to play the game. I mean, the same could be said for let's say Destiny on the 360 and the PS3. Just saying, Destiny 1. The same could be said for a whole bunch of games that you buy digitally, whether from Sony, Microsoft, or Nintendo. Same could be said. So when you buy a digital game, you downright own the game. If the developer didn't want to say if the developer didn't want to sell their games physically and digitally, then they should have never put it on the store in the first place. Just saying, okay? Because you make games to sell them to make a profit, basically. And once you sell it, that person owns that copy of the game outright, and they can play it on any day, any given week, any month, any season, any year they see fit. Just saying, man. I mean, look. I mean, when I was talking about the console ban with Microsoft, especially on this, especially on the 360, man. When I was buying digital games on the 360, the full game was never being installed on this. It was the demo. It's when I connected the 360 online, then all of a sudden I had the full game. Because I could sit here and talk about this for a good minute, but with Microsoft, when you bought digital games for the 360, a lot of them, man, they were just demo. Say for instance, let's say you go to the Xbox arcade and you buy Fatal Fury Special. You buy Fatal Fury Special. If you try to play that game offline, what you have is the demo. You only have access to two fighters. Fatal Fury Special has about 19 fighters, and you only have access to 2 when you go offline. When you buy a digital game, man, you should be able to own the game outright. But with Xbox, they were just letting you play the demo. They had you fooled thinking that, oh, when you buy the digital game, the game wasn't being installed on the system. The entire game, it wasn't. It was just a demo that was being installed. It's when you connected to the network, the rest of you had access to the rest of the game. So to me, that was a total scam, by the way. But anyway, when you buy a digital game, you should be able to own the full game outright, because you paid the full price for it, and the full price for the base game, the full price for the DLC with all the updates. Just saying. So yeah, but other than that, man, this should be taken up in court, man, to tell you the truth. But that's just my thoughts. Anyway, I'm gonna leave this video for y'all to enjoy, though. Nice talking to you people again. Chris, still Star Wars Dark Side. Go. Peace.